everyone, welcome to Corey and Court. Happy Tuesday. I hope you all have had an amazing morning so far. My name is Corey Jane Spalding. If you're new here, I post a podcast every Tuesday, and I'm a published author. I post my writing up on TikTok and Instagram if you want to check that out. I also have a website where my books are. So today we're going to be talking about practical ways to fighting depression. Whether you're clinically depressed, you're in a season of depression, or struggle with feelings of worthlessness, hopelessness, or dread, we've all experienced misery in one form or another. If you're listening to this and you're in a happy place or healthy place, keep listening, because I'm going to be giving practical tips on how to continue living a healthy life so that the next time you do fall, the damage might not be as severe, because you'll know steps to take to get back up. And you will fall, because we all will. We're all humans. I have an interesting view on sadness. I think sadness is not only inevitable, but necessary when you want to live a happy life. The key is to feel, but not let that feeling overcome you. Without sadness, we would not know happiness. So next time you're sad, remember that, this is a beautiful part of life. And the fact that you can feel and taste and touch things so deeply, it points to you being alive, which is beautiful. The fact that you're alive right here on this earth, right now, in this timeline. So remind yourself next time you're crying that at least you're not feeling nothing. And you can also take this to an extreme, though. You can become addicted to your own dread. You can feel purposeless without having a crutch of feeling purposeless. So let me stress that if you're always happy, you are preventing yourself from being truly happy. A kind of emotion you can only appreciate if you've let yourself be sad, when it's healthy to process things that have happened to you. So let yourself be sad, but don't drown in it. I'm going to give tips today on how to swim back up to air if you find yourself overcome and sinking in your sadness, whether it is due to a circumstance or just someone's proclivity to depression. Now, the reason I'm distinguishing these as practical tips is because I think advice about mental well-being can either be practical, as in things you can currently change, or more mental, as in mindset shifts or philosophical truths that learning about may eliminate hopelessness. Both are good and helpful, but in this episode, I'm going to solely be focusing on the practical tips. We can save more truths or motivational advice for another episode. So one of the more mental pieces of advice that we hear a lot is, live up to your potential, find your potential. I'm going to touch on this briefly today because I think that there are ways we can live up to our potential that make it easier for us to live a productive life that we can do in the now. Now, finding your potential and living up to it. Jordan Peterson distinguishes between a person and their potential. Potential is something that isn't real and we act like it is. So Jordan Peterson says, your potential is what you could be if you interacted with the world in a manner where you would gain the most information. So you cannot live up to your potential if you are not productive, because if you're not learning anything about yourself or others or the world around you, then how are you going to live up to your potential? Something that Jordan Peterson, one of his quotes that I love so much is, just because you can't see your potential doesn't mean it's not there. Everyone has something to contribute, even if they don't know it. You can always commit suicide tomorrow. Today you have things to do. The world needs you, even if you don't need it. So I'm going to I'm going to be telling you ways to start being productive so that you can have a physically and mentally more healthy life. And just because something is simple doesn't mean it's easy. Without motivation, simple activities may seem really hard. And I think a lot of times people who do struggle with depression, it's the motivation that they're struggling with. It's not that they can't do simple things that make them better. It's just the motivation to actually get them to do it. So on motivation, a lot of times when we are in a rut, we know that there are things we should be doing or should not be doing, and we just don't have the motivation to actually do it or stop doing it. If this is what you are struggling with, then my advice to you is to think of these things that I'm about to share as daily goals. When we think about advice or to-dos as in a lens of forever changes, it can scare us. So take things one day at a time. Do these 12 things today and then see how you feel. If you don't do them tomorrow, that's okay. We have so many days, so have grace on yourself. And before I get to these practical tips, I think I need to address something. Although taking care of yourself consistently will help you in the long term, these are going to be small things to do in order to kickstart your well-being right now. So if you do not have a job, or you are not a student or a mother or anything else that is being done to help you accomplish something in the long term, you can help your short-term self, but it won't be as effective in the long term. So if you have nothing you are working on, then it is not surprising that you are feeling purposeless. So if you're not a student or a parent or something else that you're contributing to society or your future self outside of you right now, then get a job, right? You don't have to like whatever you're doing or contributing to in the long term, but even if you don't like it, it still serves as something that you are working towards that give us a purpose. So write these down. I'm going to try to do them in order of how I usually do them in my day. If these 12 things are too much and they're too overwhelming, then just pick 2 things to do and do these 2 things until they become muscle memory. And then once they become muscle memory, add on more things until they all just become part of your daily routine. So here are 12 practical ways to harnessing your potential by first being productive. Number 1, make your bed. This seems kind of silly, but make your bed every day. When you start training yourself to do small things that you may think are insignificant, you are training your mind and your will to submit to things that are good for you. And coming home from work to a made bed, it puts us in a better space. And it also, little things make us feel productive. And so make your bed. If you are if it means you're going to be 45 seconds late to work, be 45 seconds late to work. Start making your bed every day. Just do it. Number 2, have a glass of water waiting for you when you wake up. So this is something that I started doing. I think that body and mind have a lot to do with each other. And if you're not taking care of your body, even if you're taking care of your mind as much as you can, it's going to suffer. It's not going to be as good as it could be if you were taking care of your body as well. And we are made up of water. Like, drinking water is so important. And I need to be doing it more. But there was this thing that I heard one time, and it's the first thing you put in your body during the day is going to be what you're craving more. And I definitely think that's true for me. I used to wake up and I would have Diet Dr. Pepper. And then the rest of the day, it sounds silly, like I wouldn't drink water. I would just be craving Diet Dr. Pepper. Or if you wake up and you have a sugary drink right away, you're going to be craving sugar the rest of the day. And so if you have a glass of water by your bed and you drink a glass of water the first thing that you do, your body's going to be craving more of it. It's the same reason why if we wake up and we go on our phone immediately, you're going to want to be on your phone more throughout the day because that's the first thing that gave your brain dopamine in the beginning of the day. So have a glass of water waiting for you when you wake up, and keep drinking it throughout the day. Water is good for you. Like, even if you're like, I do not have the energy or the motivation to do any of these things, but drink more water and you're going to feel better. I'm just telling you that you will. Number 4, this one seems hypocritical to me, but wake up at a decent time. Let me explain what I mean by this. I am such a night owl. I stay up late. That's when I work. That's when I write, is when I'm up late and I got my creative juices flowing. And so when I say decent time, that could mean 5 a.m. for someone, and that could also mean 10 a.m. for someone. For me, I try to wake up at 10 a.m. every day, and I know for my early birds, it's like, you're wasting half your day, but I enjoy staying up late. But so whenever I say decent time, I meaning decent for yourself. It is never a decent time to wake up at 2 p.m. though. It just simply isn't, because there is a reason why the whole world has been up a lot longer than you have. And so we should pay attention to why maybe that is. So wake up at a decent time. And what I mean by decent, I think also means consistent time. If your circadian rhythm is off, it's going to throw off so many other things. So if you're waking up at 7 a.m. one day and then 3 p.m. the other day, even if you're like, okay, but my energy is fine, I'm telling you that you will feel better if your body has some type of consistency. Your body's going to be just like running on survival mode because it has no idea what its sleep pattern is. So wake up at a decent and consistent time. One tip I heard was, so I try not to go on my phone the first thing I do in the morning. Just like I talked about the water thing, I think that whenever I go on my phone the first thing in the morning, it is harder for me not to go on it the rest of the day. But if you're going to go on your phone in the morning, which I know we all will, and I don't think it's necessarily bad, but I think if you struggle with phone addiction, maybe don't try to do it in the morning. But if you don't, and you simply like looking at your phone in the morning when you wake up, my advice to you is, so like, let's say I want to be up at 10 a.m. and I know that I'm going to be on my phone for, let's say, an hour. I try not to do that, but let's say an hour. I'm going to set my alarm for 9 a.m. so that I know at 10 a.m. I've already been on my phone and I'm ready to be up for the day at 10 a.m. I watched one TikTok video and it was a girl and she was giving someone advice on how to wake up early enough for school. And the girl was saying that, she needed to be up at 8 a.m., but she would go on her phone in the morning and it would end up being late. And so the girl was telling her, okay, if your goal is to be up at 8 a.m., set your alarm for 7 a.m. and then go on your phone till 8 a.m. I'm not saying that it's healthy to like go on your phone for an hour when you wake up during the day, but if you're going to, don't let that mess up when you want to actually be out of bed, if that makes sense. Number 4, eat well. This does not mean don't eat junk food. I love good junk food. Like I definitely should be eating way better than I do. So again, I'm going in order of how I think people are like whenever they're out for the day. So when I'm thinking about breakfast, I think that for me, whenever I have like something really sugary for breakfast, I end up craving sugar throughout the day. So have a good, healthy breakfast. It doesn't mean it doesn't have to have sugar, but have protein in it. Make it something that's going to give you energy so that the rest of the day you're not just craving like carbs and sugar, because that is going to affect your mental state. I'm not saying eating carbs and sugar are bad, but when that's all you're eating, it is bad. Yeah. So number 5, scheduling. Make a schedule for yourself. I think a lot of times people don't like making schedules for themselves because they are trapped into their schedule. But in reality, we are supposed to make schedules so that they can serve us. So depression can come sometimes from a feeling like you were just in a routine and nothing is ever changing. You're doing the same things every day. But in reality, you should be making your routine for the sole purpose of giving yourself free time so you can do something different throughout the day. And so manage your time well so that you are given free time where you can break the routine. Like have a routine set for yourself so you know when you can break it. So you're not just feeling like you're in the same routine over and over again. So make a schedule for it to serve you. You don't serve the schedule. Change it if it's not working. You're the one who's in control of it, not the other way around. So also thinking about schedules are also to-do lists. I love making to-do lists, but oftentimes what will happen is I'll make a to-do list and I put everything that I know needs to happen in the near future, and it overwhelms me and I get nothing done. So what I've started doing is I'll have a to-do list on my mirror, and I have a part that says to do today, to do this week, and then to do this month. And if I didn't get to something today, I'll move it to this week, right? Or if that way I can still see the things that I'm needing to get done, but I'm not putting so much pressure on myself of I need to get all of these things done today. Number 6, go outside. I know these seem like simple and easy things, but a lot of there are times where I don't do these things, and then I wonder why I'm struggling so much. Go outside. I think that if you're struggling with feelings of like nothing matters and dread and this world is purposeless and all this stuff, go outside. Like look at how big this world is and how beautiful this world is. And even if it's for 5 minutes, even if you're eating your breakfast outside for 5 minutes a day, go outside, do it. I like going outside at night. I love nighttime. I love going outside at night. So random facts about myself, but go outside during the day at some point. Make it a priority to go outside at some point during the day. And even if you go outside and you're like, oh, I hate the sun, like this feels like a chore, if you do it every day, it'll stop feeling like a chore and you'll start feeling like you need the fresh air because you've been dependent on it. It's better to be dependent on healthy things like going outside than dependent on staying in your bed. Number 7, self-care and getting ready for the day. I think it is so, I would stress this to anyone, even people who they don't really care about their physical appearance and they don't like putting on makeup, or maybe you're a guy and you're like, I don't really care. Self-care is important. And I'm not saying you need to doll yourself up every day, but you need to wake up, even if you're just going to splash water on your face and throw a hairbrush through your hair. I'm telling you that you will feel better about yourself when you look not your best, but put together, because the more put together you look, the more put together you're going to feel. The more put together you feel, the more motivated you're going to be productive. I used to, one of my teachers in high school used to always tell me, tell us on test days, dress your best on test days because you're going to work better. I think that's part of the reason why corporate America, you're supposed to dress businessy, not only because it's professional, but you work better when you are wearing something that you like. And so for test days, that's what I would do. But for me, that didn't mean put on a nice shirt and jeans. I would just wear sweatpants and a t-shirt because that's what I feel comfortable in. But I would make sure my hair looked nice. I would wash my face and do my skincare and, just feel confident about myself. Number 8, be active. My dad sent me this. He said, a river running runs clean, but a still one is brown. So true. Like, be active. That doesn't mean that you need to be like in the gym for 5 hours a day, becoming a gym rat. Maybe it does. But be active. Go on a walk. Even if it's just like, oh, I'm going to do this workout so that I can feel better. I'm going to do yoga in the morning. Love doing yoga in the morning. Be active at some point during your day. I just know that people who are active all the time are happier people than people who are not active all the time. Because you're moving your body around and I don't know, I feel like there's something therapeutic about like moving your body. It's like you're moving your thoughts around too, and you're sweating off all of these negative emotions. I don't know. That could be me just making things deeper than they need to be, but go outside. I mean, yes, go outside, but move around, okay? Be active. Number 9, this one's important. Learn something, okay? This could be you reading every day, even a fiction story, because even if you're reading fiction, you're still learning something. You're learning things about the characters that you're reading about. Learn something outside of yourself, whether that's you want to learn about the state of the world. Maybe that depresses people. If that makes you more depressed, then don't. Learn about philosophy or mathematics if you like math, or learn something, okay? Listen to a podcast while you're getting ready. Watch a YouTube video before you go to bed. Learn something new every day. You will never fully meet up to your potential if you're never learning anything new, because then you're just the same as you were. How are you going to move up to your potential if the knowledge stays the same? You won't. Number 10, find a hobby. And if you don't have a hobby, then learn it, right? Like if you're like, oh, I've always wanted to play guitar and I'm tone deaf. Okay, who cares? Learn guitar for yourself, not so that you can be like a famous artist. Even if you suck at whatever your hobby is, if it brings you joy, do it. For example, I love to hobby hop. I have new hobbies every single week. I went through a knitting phase, any phase you could think of, I went through it. Right now, I've been doing something called diamond painting. You make these you put these little diamonds on these little squares. It's like paint by numbers, but with these little gems. It's so stupid and I love it. So I don't care. And I do it for like an hour a day. And I found that finding a hobby and doing it, even if you're bad, like it is better for your brain than just mindlessly scrolling. So find a hobby that's not just scrolling on TikTok and learn it or do it a day, whether it's coloring, whether it's shopping can be a hobby, right? It could also be destructive if you are like spending all your money, but find a healthy hobby that you enjoy doing and do it. And I'm not talking about work or school. Those don't count. I'm talking about something that you are not getting paid to do or that you are not like required to do. Find a hobby and learn how to do it or keep doing it. Number 11, see people. For me, I think that people oftentimes go 2 ways. They either, when they get depressed or when they're in a low place, they isolate themselves and they don't see people, or they see everybody and they're addicted to people to forget how they're feeling. So I'm going to group 11 and 12 together. 11 is see people and 12 is to be alone. I think we need a balance of both. So if you're the type of person who is going to withdraw and isolate when you're in bad times, make an effort to see people. Even if you were like, that's more me. I love people. I'm such an extrovert, but if I'm going through hard times, I want to be alone. So you need to make yourself see people. Even if you're like, Corey, there is nothing I want to do less than go and socialize right now, make yourself do it. Just like make yourself do it. And if you're the opposite and you never let yourself be alone because you don't let yourself process your thoughts, remember I said in the beginning, if you never let yourself process sadness, you can never be truly happy. So you need to find a balance of seeing people and also being alone, okay? Don't medicate yourself by being alone. Don't medicate yourself with being with people 24/7. You need to find a balance because that's the healthy way to do it. We were made to be social beings. So don't let yourself withdraw. But also, you yourself are a person. Get to know your brain and your person too. So those are my 12 practical tips. If you're really struggling right now, then you need to try everything you can. Accept every rope being thrown at you because there's no harm in not doing it. If you do all of those 12 things for 3 months straight and you don't feel better at all, at least you will feel productive. And I promise you that that's better than feeling terrible and unproductive, because being productive is living up to your potential more than if you just sat in bed all day and cried and ate junk food. And if you are listening to this and you're like, Corey, but all I want to do is sit in my bed and cry and eat junk food, then I would first ask you if that's really true, because I don't think you'd be listening this far if that were the case. But if it is true, I would say that there's no getting better if you are just content where you're at. You have to want to be better. You have to want it, or the simple things won't be valuable enough for you to put in the effort to make them muscle memory. Last kind of tip is to have something to look forward to. Give yourself a reason to get out of bed every day, even if it is just to make your bed. I hope you all enjoyed this podcast. The only way this podcast will grow is by word of mouth. So if you liked what you heard today, share it with a friend. And if you hated what you heard today, you can share it with a friend and y'all can laugh at it together. I don't care. But share it with a friend. Leave a comment if you're on Spotify. If you're on YouTube, there's an audio version on Spotify. If you're listening on Spotify, there's a video version on YouTube. My website is CoreyJane.squarespace.com if you want to check out more of my content. And I will see you all next week. Thanks for listening.